In this video, I'll be doing a quick unboxing and review of the Sennheiser HD650. These have been on the market for quite some time now, and they're still among the more popular headphones out there. I've seen reviewers refer to these as reference headphones in the past, and that's simply not correct. These are actually not reference headphones. They lend themselves more towards audiophiles for listening and enjoying music. So why do many producers swear to these as well? That's what I wanted to find out, so I reached out to Sennheiser and they were kind enough to send me one to review. My old and trusted HD449 has begun to show its age. I've had it for many years now and it still works great, but as you can see, it has seen better days. I've always thought that Sennheiser makes great headphones, so I was eager to check out the HD650. When you open the box, you'll find the headphones themselves, a manual, and an adapter. The cord here is actually replaceable, which I think is great. My cat chewed over the cord on one of my previous headphones, and that was nearly game over for those. And who hasn't experienced the embarrassment of getting up to grab a cup of coffee or something only to find yourself hanging by the cord of your headphones? Yeah, thought so. Needless to say, there's many ways to ruin that cord, so this is a great little detail. The cushions are also replaceable, so you can tell that these are meant to last a long time. The building material is mainly plastic and metal, as with most headphones. But there's no noise from the materials themselves, as can be the case with some cheaper headphones. Overall, the build quality feels quite solid. These are open back headphones, so a small amount of sound will spill into the surroundings. Open headphones are generally best suited for both listening and mixing. Closed headphones are better for tracking, and in cases where you don't want sound to bleed into the environment. The impedance is 300 ohms, which means that they'll need proper amplification in order to get the most out of them. Besides audio quality, comfort is also very important when it comes to headphones, because you'll often be wearing them for extended periods of time. Well, I've been using these for some time now, and they are definitely comfortable to wear. The cushioning is good, and the clamping pressure is not too tight, nor is it too loose. This ensures that they sit comfortably on your head without becoming painful over time. The cushioning on top is effective, and I barely notice that I have them on at all. The ear pads are quite soft, and I like that they don't directly contact my ears. They don't feel as heavy as my AKGs that I normally use for referencing. I had to check to be sure, and the weight difference is actually not significant, but the HD650 still feels lighter to wear for some reason. So it's well built, practical, and comfortable to wear, but how does it sound? Well, before I get to that, I want to point this out. This video is undoubtedly going to be seen by both audiophiles and producers alike, and I want to ensure that there's no misunderstandings here. Those two types of listeners will obviously have very different needs, and I want this review to be relevant for everyone. If you're an audiophile and you enjoy sitting back and listening to good music, then there's not a lot to point the finger at with these. I even took them down to the living room and watched TV with them for a couple of hours in a row, and they never became uncomfortable to wear. When it comes to listening to music, I love the clarity and depth they provide. Listening to music on these is simply a joy. The HD650 is not only popular among audiophiles though, a lot of producers also embrace these, even though they are not specifically designed as reference headphones. Reference headphones have a very flat frequency response, which is great for mixing. However, that's not ideal for listening to music, because it can sometimes sound a bit flat and boring. Even though these are not reference headphones, they're still fairly flat, which is probably why they are embraced by many producers as well. They were obviously made to quite accurately represent the music the way the original composer intended it, with only minimal sweetening here and there. It kind of reminds me of the old Yamaha NS10s, which back in the day ended up just in about every professional recording studio around the world, despite not being designed as a reference monitor at all. I suspect there might be something similar going on here. People simply like the way these sound. When listening to music, there's no substitute for sound quality, so it's not hard to see why these are so popular. I really like how the music comes alive with these. They are definitely among the best sounding headphones you can get in this price range. The mid-bass feels very tight and accurate on these. There seems to be a little bit of a boost around the 200 to 300 Hz region though, and the sub-frequencies seem to be slightly rolled off in the lowest regions, but nothing too extreme. Overall, they sound very precise, and I like that they don't become boomy. There's usually a fine line there. The mid-range is exceptionally clear, and when I use them for mixing, I found it easier to do finer editing in both the low and high-mid region. The high end is also very precise and deliver exceptional detail. They seem to have a little bit less air up in the very top compared to my AKG reference headphones, but on the other hand, they won't end up sounding harsh as easily, which is an advantage when it comes to listening. Overall, they sound very well balanced and very clean and detailed. To sum it up, I'm very happy with these. If you're a typical bedroom producer who needs a pair of headphones that's good for both mixing and listening to music, then these should be a good all-around, kind of one-size-fits-all headphones, in the sense that there is such a thing. As I said before, they are fairly flat, so they can be used for mixing, but they are not as flat as dedicated reference headphones. The low end feels a little bit amplified, so that's definitely something to keep in mind. But as long as you're aware of it, then it shouldn't be a problem. If you need closed headphones or dedicated reference headphones, which is the ideal thing for mixing, then you'll probably be better off with something like this, the Neumann NDH20. I'll be reviewing these in another video. All in all, there's not too much negative to say here. These are great sounding headphones. They are certainly a huge leap from my old and trusted 449s, which can now be retired in favor of the HD650. If you're an audiophile on a budget and want the best value for your money, then you can't go wrong with these. They offer both exceptional clarity and great comfort. I think the HD650 is one of the best headphones you can get in this price range. When it comes to actually listening to music, that's where these really shine. I can safely recommend these for anyone who's taking listening to music seriously. I'm adding the Amazon links in the description below in case you want to check out the HD650 for yourself. I'd like to thank our Patreons for their ongoing support, and as always, if there's any specific tutorial you'd like us to make, or if you have a question, just let us know in the comments below. Also, make sure to check out the links below if you need feedback on your music, mastering, and so on. Thanks for watching.